1. Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2. Get some good, some food in you. Step 3. Think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4. Everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. You always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause of sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2. Get some good, some food in you. Step 3. Think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4. Everybody just do your thing.
See, I don't know about y'all, but like for real, I don't mind being talked about. My problem come in when they start making stuff up. So you can talk about me all you want. It is what it is. You know, it's either I did it or I didn't. I said it or I didn't. Whatever the case is, I don't care. I let whoever think whatever, feel whatever. That's on them. You know what I'm saying? But it's the making up part. It's the lying part. It's the adding on to part that always get me. I don't mind being talked about. It's when y'all start lying that bothers me.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, good morning, my beautiful coffee crew. It's nice to see you guys again. I am back in Office 1 after spending much needed time in Office 2. You guys been around me long enough, you know exactly which office is which. Even the haters know. So good morning, everyone. If you're wondering why this wasn't set up at like 6, So here's the real story, okay? Bullhorn Betty has put on a few extra pounds, driving around, traveling all over the country, eating junk food. And so this morning at 4:30, I decided it's time to get back into shape. So, and if you guys know anything about me, I have had a gym membership for a long time. Used to go regularly, not so much anymore. So it was nice putting some juice in the joints this morning, 4:30 in the morning. That is correct. Bullhorn Betty became Sweaty Betty. So had to come home, had to get the shower. I went there without a stick of coffee. By the way, Be Betty fan, I am drinking out of your gallon jug that you sent me this morning. That's the one I'm drinking out of. I need as much coffee as possible. If anybody knows my problem was lack of coffee on the DC trip, lack of coffee. Had fun. So a lot of people, this was kind of a double duty trip for me. It was actually a triple duty trip for me. It was to advocate for our kids. It was to get inspired, meet new people, network, and meet my crew. And which my crew is pretty large. And, we are from all over the country. So it was a good time. Here's the problem. So I talked to a lot of people higher up on the food chain, higher up than the state of Florida, higher up than any other state. Talked to a few people about my initiatives. Here's the problem. The bottom line is the country is just a mess. And everybody is focused on everything else other than our children at the moment. So it's going to have to take real work from each individual state to which we kind of knew. I was hoping, keeping my fingers crossed, that I might be able to at least plant a seed, which I did plant seeds. I plant seeds all over that convention. Hopefully, as things starts dying down and things start, not being so concerning for our country right now. There's a lot of stuff that you and I don't know that's going on. And it's a little worrisome, to say the least. But it's going to take a lot more boots on the ground effort, So the way we're doing it, the design of going to these counties, double duty when we're covering the cases, us also meeting out with the politicians is probably going to be the best way for avocation on this, at least for the next couple years. So I was already dedicated to doing that anyways. And it just means, and I'm not going to keep planting seeds higher up the food chain. I will continue to do that. But the idea that there's going to be an easy fix is not going to be the case. And we're, living a pipe dream if we think so. So we're going to keep chiseling around about it, but we're going to start moving on with other cases. And we're going to have to be working behind the scenes. And again, I will be reaching out to these places. Every time I go someplace, I will be reaching out to politicians. I will be doing my part. And as I work with my own government here in the state of Florida, maybe crafting that letter so we can all start doing our own part. So with that being said, we're going to move on. I have some great stuff to go over, some updates. And before we do, a big shout out to both my Jennifers. Jennifer from Georgia sent me a nice, very, very nice treat yesterday. And Jennifer sent me a delicious treat yesterday with a big old balloon that said, thank you. So Jennifer L., thank you. Jen, thank you. Both of my Jens, thank you guys so very much for all that you do for the Bullhorn Betty channel and everybody else that does stuff that's nice to help support this channel, including sending me ridiculously large coffee cups that I end up loving because it holds so much coffee, right? So getting on with the morning. Stacy, love, good morning, hon. It's nice to see you. Teresa, Jennifer L., I was just talking about you in the chat as we speak. Patty Cakes, nice to see you. I see you. It's great to have you in here this morning. It's nice to see you. Jara, Family Vibes. Cool Gamer is in the house, up bright and early. MJ, Nana of 7. Princess, Mega Elsa. Robert's Girl, good morning. Daisy Chain. What else do we have? We have Clorinda. Cranky pants? You know what? I'm not cranky. There's something about going and working out that just, I don't know. I was listening to music. I don't really listen to music, you know, but I had to get a good beat. So I went on Pandora and they actually had some decent workout music. I was able to speed up my treadmill to get some extra calories burned before I went onto the machines. And it was all from the music. I was listening to music up to when I took my shower and blow dried my hair, listening to music the whole entire time. Nani, nice to see you. Buffalo Mountain, Tennessee girl in the house. Belinda, Chrissy, Angie, Sunshine Cherry, nice to see you all. Who else do we have? Kitty Cats is in the house. ZA, Maddie Dawn, nice to see you. Van Lady, L Fig, good morning. Mary Jane, who else do we have? Lucky Ducky, nice to see you, honey. Roxy, I haven't seen you. Sheila, nice to see you. Michelle Tucker, nice to see you as well. Who else do we have? That one girl. Thank you, that one girl. It's called 14 Hours of Rest. I tell you what, I ordered food. That's what made me do it. That's what made me decide to go to the gym this morning. Is yesterday I was starving. I have stuff around the house. I didn't feel like cooking it. So I ended up ordering food, and I ordered a stuffed bell pepper with a side salad, but I knew I was going to need something for dinner. So I ordered a little small pizza, right? And it was just the marguerite pizza. I love this little restaurant, and they have great delivery, great service, great food. I ate way too much yesterday, and then I get a knock at the door, and it's chocolate covered fruit and cookies. I ate the whole damn box. I'm like, enough's enough. This is it. So I got up this morning. I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, well, it's 4 o'clock. What am I going to do this morning? I had already done all my research yesterday. I know exactly what we're going to be talking about this morning. What in the world am I doing? So the gym it was. Melly Joe, nice to see you. Teresa, 14, Judy, oh my goodness. Sweaty Betty, yes, Sweaty Betty. Mike Stevens in the house. Net L. Who else do we have? Delta's girl, nice to see you this morning. Kim 22. Who else? I think I said hi to Teresa. I don't think I said hi to Patricia. It's nice to see you here this morning. Kayla, Mary. I think that's Bean Feathers. Abigail. My 5th grader always comes into the classroom in the morning before homeroom. And I know, before homeroom, and I know I'm listening to you. They're always telling me to tell you good morning. Well, to the 5th graders at Abigail, that's our teacher, Miss Harden. For all the 5th graders in the classroom of Miss Harden, Bullhorn Betty and Channel wants to tell you to have a wonderful Tuesday, do your homework, and listen to your teacher. Don't make Bullhorn Betty come there with my bullhorn. Tell your kids I said good morning. Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. Oh, Pittsburgh nurse, nice to see you. Robin, nice to see you. LaGracie, nice to see you. I think I got everyone. If I missed you by chance, good morning, everyone. It's nice to be back in the office. It's been a very long trip, as you guys can imagine. I was not up for a whole lot, as you can imagine. I did not pull a JLR and take you guys through the Capitol and all those things. And I didn't go back to, it was crazy because I was kind of upset that I didn't go to the Alec Murdaugh trial on the way up to DC, because I had a couple days, where I was just getting, I wanted to get situated up there so I didn't miss anything. And I didn't realize I had my day off by 1 day. So I had a spare day that I ended up just hanging out in the room. But I could have technically went to South Carolina and at least monitored that Alec Murdaugh case, since we had been running it live for so many weeks here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. but I didn't think about it. It was just a missed opportunity, And then on the way back, as far as I'm concerned, the case is over. Justice was served. There's more victims of Alec Murdaugh that hopefully will get justice soon when he goes and has to pay for his financial crimes. But on that same vein, we did get an update. Let me pull this up for you guys. Hold on, let me put this in. There we go. We did get an update. Let me move the banner. If you guys have not, as you guys are coming in, please don't forget to go over there and hit the like notification on this channel. But look, you remember how I told you guys, let me put this in a smaller one and then I'll bring it up bigger. Remember how I told you guys that I felt like there was more to Alec Murdaugh's financial crime? We went over this and almost and started talking about it. And we're like, wait a minute. Like, I worked in law firms. I know the procedure set up. Like, this is going to be nice to see you, Sonia. Aw, sick child. Well, give your baby a kiss for me. Thank you. Yeah, I did deserve a break. Well, it's one of those things where I just run. And then when my body says, it's time to take a break, that's kind of when I take a break. So there's no rhyme or reason when I take a break. It's when I just can't go anymore, when it's time for me to take some downtime. And it's usually a day because I can't sit still. It's a problem. My poor Betty can't sit still. I can't stay in this house all day. I just can't do it. What was it going on? So I kept saying in the Alex Murdaugh, there seems to be that somebody has to be helping him, either at the law firm or bank. Somebody has to be helping him with this. And so we heard about Russell Laffitte. He was the head honcho at the Palmetto State Bank, but the one in the Hampton branch. And in testimony, Alec Murdaugh stated that, Russell Laffitte didn't know anything about his scam. He was a scam. He was an unknowing participant. Yes, he did some things for Alec Murdaugh, because he was a well-to-do client of the bank. And so I think he broke the rules a little bit to appease his well-to-do client that helps bring lots of money to that bank. And so he got a little sloppy and did some things he doesn't normally do, or not customary, or not in the right order to do, such as that $700,000 deposit that went into his bank. And then within a matter of days, it was $300,000 and some odd overdrawn. These were some major issues that Alec was going through, major financial issues, and he was not going to see the light of day until the end of the year when they got paid. His law firm, he never got paid but once a year. And, throughout that year, you've got to live off what you do for that year. That must be really hard to try to have to support yourself for a year, then get paid, and then have to support yourself off what you got paid. But my understanding is that these were millions of dollars that they got at the end of the year, well enough just to financially support themselves throughout the year. Either way, so I was doing some research yesterday and I came across this article. I should have done some videos, but to be honest with you, I was too lazy. The only video I dropped was the one that I was supposed to have dropped like a week ago and forgot to. The Brian Koberger, thing. So while I was doing this, I was reading up on this, and it's like, holy crap, Russell Laffitte from Palmetto Bank was actually convicted of the crime and will not be entitled to a new trial, because here's what happened. He went to court. He was one of the very first people that went to court for his crime, and he was found guilty because Alec only got paid $1 million once a year. No, that's not true. That's what he tried to state on record, but that's not true. It was based upon so some years he got paid $4 or $5 million. Some years he got paid $1 million. It depended on his, how much money he got. Think about it. His Ferris case alone was going to net him well over $500,000. What is $700 something thousand just on that one case? So he had multiple cases. So some years, years he was making more than $1 million. That's what he told the people on the stand. And I'm sorry, I don't believe that. If one case a year can net him $700 and something $1,000, he's making well over $1 million a year. I mean, that's just, yeah, I'm sorry. I wholeheartedly disagree. He only made $1 million. Hell, there's no way. There's no way. So, anyways, Russell went to court, but here's the kicker. Alec Murdaugh would not testify. He pled the fifth whenever Russell Laffitte went to court. It wasn't until the murder trial happened that Alec Murdaugh actually broke his silence and said that Russell had nothing to do with it, that he was an unwilling participant. But guess what? It's a day late and a dollar short. There's nothing that the attorneys for Russell Laffitte can do about overturning his conviction because Alec refused to testify at his trial and didn't open his mouth under oath until he was on the stand for the murder trial. So now Russell Laffitte's screwed. He's screwed. So I just thought I'd read a little bit about this. So the former Hampton banker Russell Laffitte is not entitled to a new trial on allegations that he helped the disgraced and disbarred attorney Alec Murdaugh steal money from clients. The U.S. District Judge Richard Gergel ruled March 6. The judge's decision set up the possibility of an appeal. So it looks like Laffitte may actually appeal that ruling. So, and you know, on appeals, good morning, Sailor Purge. Nice to see you. Jojo West, nice to see you too. Teresa, good morning. Good morning, Allie. So it's crazy because even based upon that, I have no doubt will this be appealed because this, in all fairness, is kind of new information. But would Alec be willing to testify at the new trial to help save his friend? I don't know whether or not he will. But the judge's decision set up the possibility of an appeal on Laffitte's November conviction on 6 federal counts, including bank fraud, wire fraud, and conspiracy. Laffitte, the former chief executive of Palmetto State Bank, was the first defendant in the Murdaugh saga to face trial. I feel so bad for him. I feel like he was a pawn, and I truly do believe he was duped. I don't believe he was a willing participant in this particular money laundering scheme that Alec had set up. I think Alec was a pretty smart guy and was a swindler. And I think he thought long and hard about the best way to swindle people. And he put that into action years ago, where people were none the wiser. Everybody looked up to him. He had the family name. You know, his name was synonymous with prestige and honor and respect and things like that. And to think that he would be this disgraced murderer, thief, and liar, everybody was blindsided by that, in my opinion, based upon the information that we heard at the trial, that we heard everywhere. You know, he seemed to know what made people tick, and he preyed upon that, and he manipulated people, and he was cunning and conniving. And that's how he was able to do all that he was able to do. I feel bad for Russell Laffitte, but then again, we weren't there. And who knows? Russell Laffitte may have very well knew more about this than he wants to allege. And maybe just like in the Alec Murdaugh case, there was some groundbreaking information that came out in that trial that helped seal the deal and convict him. I didn't watch the trial of Russell Laffitte. But Laffitte readily admitted he played a role in some of Murdaugh's theft when he processed checks the lawyer used to divert millions of dollars in client funds for his own benefit. But Laffitte contends he was an unwitting pawn who was unaware of Murdaugh's scheme and simply carried out the customer's request. But again, you know, and this is the problem I have. Yes, that is accurate. He carried out his request, but these are why checks and balances are in place in lawyers' offices, why checks and balances are in place at banks, why you should never receive funds until all your documents, your loan documents are properly executed, and all the dots and on the I's and the crosses on the T's are done. you don't get that funding. If it, like for me, if I want a mortgage, I literally have to go and apply for it. I have to fill out the application. They got to come here and do the appraisal on the property. I have to execute all these documents. I have to have a title search done. I have to have sometimes a survey. They'll make you do a survey. Sometimes they'll make you do a 30-point or 3-point inspection. It's a bunch of wind mitigation. There's a bunch of stuff that goes into getting a loan, even a line of credit on your home to move forward. But you have to have all those things, and you don't get the funds until you go to what is known as a closing, where the title company has done their searches, your bank has done whatever they need to do, and now you're sitting at the table ready to execute the final docs and receive that money. All those steps were eliminated for Alec Murdaugh. He was treated much differently, and processes that were kept in place to make sure fraud and things like this didn't happen. Russell kind of glossed over and didn't apply those standards to Alec Murdaugh, which is against, policy. And now he's having to face criminal charges because of his conduct during this. So Laffitte is in jail. The attorney's saying, well, he may have testified at his trial, but we're not giving you a new trial based on new information testified on his trial. So we'll have to keep watch on this and make sure if he's going to appeal, how that appeal goes. I would really like Russell Laffitte to get a lower sentence. I like this. Even Russell, in my opinion, is another one of Alec's victims. Looks like Alex was a guy that kept on pulled a lot of people into his schemes. Yeah, Linda Lou, it does seem like that. And it seems like, and think about it. It's like, if somebody famous, okay, we're going to take it like this, because in all fairness, the Murdaugh family was famous in Hampton County. They were very well known, very powerful family. If you come from a very powerful family and people look up to you and people trust you, because really you're showing 100 years of trust of the community. Let's be honest. A family doesn't have power like that in an area where the family name is constantly voted on and constantly, put in that position for 100 years before it was finally broken. You don't see stuff like that unless you're trusted and respected by your community. So everybody trusted and respected the Murdaugh name, the Murdaugh family. And Alec Murdaugh was no different. They treated him exactly like every other Murdaugh. He was entitled. He was above them. He looked down on people. But what was so interesting with Alec is I don't think he made people feel like he looked down on him. He made people feel like they were one of his family, one of his friends. And that gives people, normal people, this good giddy feeling, when you're in front of royalty, so to speak, right? People act different. When somebody of an elitist nature knows your name, you feel really privileged, right? So I think that was really kind of his gift to other people and how he was able to bring them in, because no matter what he said, they would believe him. And he knew that. Why? Because Alec Murdaugh knew what made people tick. He knew what made people tick. So let me come back here. So that was kind of Alec Laffitte. And then I'm going to go back. I'm going to dovetail back to Alec Murdaugh, some more conversations about Murdaugh a little later in this segment. But we're going to kind of switch gears now to Gabby Petito. You guys know that Gabby Petito in the Brian Laundrie, what does it say? I'm so sick of the two-tier justice system. Yeah, Amy, but I think that they corrected some of that two-tier justice system in Low Country when they convicted Alec Murdaugh of these crimes. Hey, Gold, it's nice to see you here. Nice to see you. Welcome. For those that are just joining in, don't forget to hit the like button, but we just went over Russell Laffitte. This was the banker that Alec Murdaugh used. He was convicted prior to Alec going to trial for the murder of his wife and son. And he would not testify in Russell Laffitte's hearing. He pled the fifth when asked questions, but during his trial, he acknowledged and admitted that Russell Laffitte had no knowledge of his scheme, that he was just another victim. And so now Russell Laffitte is going to court trying to ask the court to give him a new hearing based on this new information and new testimony, and the judge denied that request. So this may be appealed, just to bring everybody up to speed. And now we're kind of dovetailing over to the Brian Laundrie, Gabby Petito case, where the Laundrie family and the Schmidt Petito family are in a lawsuit together because the Petito Schmidt family claimed that they distressed them more than they needed to. They lied to them about the welfare of their daughter and their own son. And while we were out there, Jonathan and I, as well as many other people that came out in support of Gabby Petito and trying to find answers as to what happened to her prior to us realizing that Brian took his own life, we found out a lot of information being boots on the ground, because we weren't there just protesting. We were truly there trying to find answers. And part of those answers that we found was that there was things going on at that house when Brian came back home without Gabby. And Christopher Laundrie, one, was cleaning the house, or cleaning the van out with Brian. And now we learned that, and when I was out front of their house, I asked them how long they knew it and when they got their attorney, because I believe they had their attorney before Brian ever even arrived to the state of Florida. And that was based upon the work that we had done with boots on the ground. And come to find out, we got some backlash. We had a lot of support with Gabby Petito, lots of support, a heck of a lot more support than we did hate. But the hate didn't understand. They kept thinking we were wrong. We were wrong. Everything that we did was wrong, wrong, wrong. They can't believe that we were punishing a family that has lost their son, and shame on us, and this, that, and the other. And we try to tell the people of the public that this is not that family. This is not the family that deserves their mercy. This is not the family that deserves their pity. This is a family that helped their son try to cover up the murder of Gabby Petito. And guess what? We were absolutely 100% right in everything that we did out there. The information that we found and uncovered while we were out there is why the Laundries are being sued at this moment. And now we find out it even goes deeper than that with this burn after read letter, where it is apparent, we have not seen it yet, but it is apparent that this was a very damaging letter written by Roberta Laundrie to her son, and she requested that he burn it after reading, which it did not happen, and it was recovered. And it sounds like, from what we're hearing on the back channels, that this actually goes even further, where Roberta offers to come with a shovel and help bury the body. Again, not the kind of the family or parents that we provide pity to, or that we have mercy on when you're trying to actively help your son cover up the murder of his girlfriend, a woman that lived in your home for 2 years, at least a year and a half at minimum, that you were about to be the in-laws of, and you're going to help him bury the body so he can escape responsibility. You are going to help your murderous son. Well, listen to this, because it is so damaging. They actually are motioning the court to not have that letter come in. They're literally asking the court. Get over here. Maybe he's got it. Here it is. Nerdy Addict's got it up. Thank you, Nerdy. Defendant seeks a protective order from the court protecting them from producing a letter written by Roberta Laundrie to her son, Brian Laundrie, which is specifically requested by plaintiff's second request for production of documents. So they're looking to seal that letter because it's so damaging. They don't want it in the hands of the Schmidt Petito family. This is the same people that hung up the phone and refused to answer the calls of a concerned mother and father trying to seek where their child may be, a child that they entrusted with the Laundries. And they shit on them. Excuse my language, but that's the only word I can find that works for something like this. That works for something like this. They quit giving their son excuses and held him accountable like parents are supposed to do. We might not be in this situation at all. The first time you heard your son hit his girlfriend and you had thrown his butt in jail, maybe the situation would be different. I have no pity for the Laundries. I will never have pity for the Laundries. Quite frankly, I want the Laundries the heck out of Florida. I don't want them here anymore. They don't deserve to be here. They are just a disgrace to the entire community. A disgrace. And I'm glad the Petito Schmidt family is exposing this mom and father for exactly who they are. We exposed them. Now it's time for a little more. They're not done quite yet. Not done quite yet. Here we go. And then we got the entire protective order here. Let me go ahead and pull this up. I'll read this stuff to you. Well, I guess I really don't. The court is aware this case arises out of an undeniably sad circumstances where the defendant's son, Brian Laundrie, killed the plaintiff's daughter, Gabby Petito, after which defendant's son took his own life. This has been truly heartbreaking experience for both families. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you this. I honestly believe that either the mom or the father gave him the gun and said, you know, you're either, this is your choices. You're either going to be in jail for the rest of your natural life, or you're going to have to make peace with God. Like, I believe that Roberta or his father did that. And I think they knew. That's why they didn't get off their duff to go help them find it. I think they really believed that the FBI would find him. I think they knew. I think the day that they went out there and got that Mustang and picked it up, I think they walked that area. They knew that area. They knew that the Myakkahatchee Environmental Park. I think they knew it. I think they saw him that day, and that's why they sheltered in place. I truly believe, because I'm telling you, when we were out there and we watched that and we talked to Mike Ruiz, and he explained how Christopher Laundrie made a 90-degree beeline through bushes that didn't have a trail and just happened to stumble across them. I knew right then. He knew where that boy was this entire time. And he refused to help law enforcement find his own son until his own son was just nothing but bones. I have no pity for those parents. None. And here's something interesting. This is another news clip that I just wanted to update you on. I got some new information about this. And then I'm going to open the phone lines up for a little bit. We got quite a few things to cover this morning. And I'm not going to necessarily be off just right at the 2-hour mark. We're going to move on through this stuff and have a general conversation about a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on in the country, no doubt. So this came across my page. You guys are not going to be able to hear it more mine. But here it is. This right here that you're seeing is 4 Americans being kidnapped by the Mexican cartel in Mexico. Come to find out this morning, this was an accident. They grabbed the wrong family. They grabbed the wrong family. This was an accident. They weren't meaning to grab this family. Now they're up S Creek without a paddle because they grabbed the wrong family, not just the wrong family, an American family. 4 people that were visiting Mexico were ambushed and kidnapped and drugged from their vehicle. Makes it scary, right? How many of you guys took that trip to Mexico? Scary stuff. Scary stuff. This is why I don't travel outside of the country. When we heard about that whole thing with the girl that went over to Mexico to visit and her friends basically killed her best friends. And then they came all back and they said that she drank herself to death. And then when the autopsy came back, I found out her neck was broken and everything. This is the place that they were at, not the specific place. That's why I don't go. I remember everybody's like, "Oh, go to Mexico." You got me messed up. I'm not going into another country. I know the laws in this country. I'm not going down there. I better have a security team before I go into another country. I'm telling you. This is for Allie. This is for Americans that were. It's not really a case. Don't even know the Americans' names. It started hitting the news waves yesterday, or maybe even the evening before, saying that 4 Americans were kidnapped by the Mexican drug cartel. Thank God. I don't know if they're dead. I don't know if they're alive. I don't know nothing. I just found out this morning that it was a mistake. I did research yesterday on this and just got some tidbit of information. But then this morning I was doing some follow-up research and I was told it was all one big mistake. They grabbed the wrong family. You know how that doesn't happen, Mexican drug cartel? Quit snatching families. You won't get the wrong one. Just a thought. Just a thought, you know? But it makes you wonder, because this is the concern I have. It's not just this family, but we hear about this human trafficking all over. You know, we're trying to get an order. We got our border that's just wide open down south, and it makes me wonder: were they trying to kidnap a family because somebody wasn't doing what they were supposed to be doing for the cartel? Did somebody get caught smuggling stuff in, so they were going to take it out on the family? This is very, very, very dangerous. This is very dangerous. It's very concerning that a family can go to Mexico and just be picked off the street. Not just picked off. I mean, this was, let's watch this again. This is not something small. I mean, this is in broad daylight. People are watching, so much so that they are literally recording this and nobody's doing a thing. Look at them, dragging them. Put them face down on the ground. Put them face down on the ground. And then drags them by their clothes over to the vehicle and throws them inside as they're assaulting them. See, dragging them. An American family. That's how they are treated in Mexico. Mexico has every ability to wipe out their drug cartel if they so chose, and they choose not to. So be careful if you guys go to Mexico, because this might be you. There is no protection for Americans in other countries. And you guys know I'm a law and order type of girl. Law and order type of girl. And people are just watching, driving around. They're abducting people in the middle of the street in broad daylight, and people are just going on about their business. No, they're not dead. At least they weren't at that moment. They were beaten. They were treated like crap. That's why I don't go into other countries. These traffickers know the current administration is doing nothing to help Americans, so they're brazen. Don't go to other countries now. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Too much is going on. Not only that, we are high commodities, okay? Seriously, folks, we're Americans. We're a commodity around the world. Think about that. You're not afforded the rights that we're afforded in this country and any other country. I think whatever ancestor decided to get on the boat of mine and come over here. Thank you. Thank you. We went over the laundries. All already got Russell Laffitte. Ooh, that's right. We're getting into that case too. Ooh. All right. I'm just going through and making sure where I'm at in my skit for this morning. Which one do I want to go through first? Okay, we'll go through this one. So, as I was going through this is going to be where I stopped and open up the phone lines just for a little bit because we've covered a lot of stuff already this morning, and I want to make sure if you guys have any comments and want to have open discussion, we're going to get the phone lines open here in just a second. But before we do, I did want to bring everybody's attention to a missing woman out of California. It is a sad case. This is something that is highly concerning for me. So let me just go ahead and pull this up and we'll chat about it here in just a second. So here is Chelsea, last seen in middle of January at a friend's house with the man in the photo. So this is her boyfriend right here. And this is the last person that saw her alive. His name is Paul Chandler. He has since returned home without Chelsea. Sounds familiar as we're just coming off the heels of our conversation about Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito. Paul claims she kicked him out of the Lyft car that she rented in Lathrop on February 10th, 2023, and he has not seen her since. The rental car is a beige 2021 Nissan Sentra with California plate 8VUU804. If you recognize her, please call her mother, Michelle Chandler. And I'm not going to really go through that. I mean, I do appreciate her mom putting her phone number out there, but I don't think her mom realized this is YouTube, this is social media, and you will get every walk of life calling her. So there she is. She looks like, a very nice person. And I just find it odd, and I'm curious about where the rental car is. But if you have seen her, you are asked to reach out. And then we have some more on her. Here it is. Chelsea Wiley, missing from West Point, California. Family has not heard from her since January 12th, 2023. Her boyfriend, Paul Chandler, was the last one to see her. She allegedly kicked him out of her rental car on February 10th during a road trip. Her dog is also missing. Please share. So we are doing our part in sharing this story. I don't believe that she kicked him out of the car. Obviously, I don't believe anything this man has to say. I'm always skeptical in these types of situations because what man gets out of the car and walks and doesn't bother calling and checking on her, even if he is upset? I have been in situations in the past, and you know what? Even with all of the pieces of garbage that I dated, guess what? They called to check on me. They called to check on me. This guy doesn't even sound like he called to check on her. It appears, in all appearance, I'll have to look into this a little further, but in all appearance, it seems that her and the car and the dog are missing. But her family says they have not heard from her since January 12th, 2023. So it was almost an entire month that the family has not heard from her. And then her boyfriend saying, oh, well, she kicked me out of the car, the rental car. So I'm curious to hear more about that, but we'll have to do something. Actually, as a matter of fact, let me tell the people out there, we're going to need to start looking into Chelsea Wiley, Wiley. And her boyfriend is Paul Chandler or Candler. I don't know. It looks like Candler. Paul, Paulcandler. And it sounds like they're both from California. So I need anything and everything on them. If my mods or if I know I got several sleuths in the audience somewhere, if you guys want to send me Facebook Facebook profiles, any social media profiles, anything that you guys can on them. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'll be doing some work on this case today and giving you guys updates on it, because this really does have me very curious. And she is, just in all appearances, it does look like a Brian Gabby Petito type of situation all over again. So I'd like to know where they live. I'd like to know any of their past criminal history, all the stuff that we normally do in cases like this, just to get an idea. And what the reason why I try to look for past criminal history, you guys know my history. It's just to see what's going on in their life, because I know what was going on in my life when I was in bad spots. And I just like to see, is there anything, because I always believe there's always this spiraling effect that happens prior to something happening to somebody where they lose their life or anything like that. I don't, her not calling her family, I don't believe she ran away, is what I'm saying. Because one of the first things we do when we fight with our significant other, boyfriend, friend with benefit, a friend or anything, what do we typically do? We call our family. We either call our mom, we call our sisters, we call our brothers, we call whoever that we're closest to, and kind of vent to them. But they're saying that she hasn't even reached out to them. Now, is it possible he kicked her out of the car? Maybe they were drunk. Maybe she went off the side of the road. There are other options here besides him having something to do with this. But they obviously had some tiff going on right in and around a certain time frame where he said she kicked him out of the car. That sounds like a pretty bad fight. I know me personally, I would never, ever kick. I don't care if it's if I absolutely can't stand looking at this person one more second. I would never put their life in jeopardy by kicking them out of the car and leaving them in a place that they're not from. That's just not in my bloodline to do. I would be more inclined to get out of the vehicle than kicking somebody out of the vehicle. And that's a choice that I would have chose to make. So whatever happens, happens because of the choice I chose to make. But leaving somebody, even a guy in a strange place, I would never do that. I would never want to, because God forbid if something happens, I would never forgive myself for the rest of my life, blah, 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 blah. You know how that goes. So that was kind of it for her. I'm going to dig in more of her. I know that the audience is going to probably start being very interested in this case. So I will start digging more into this. But for the time being, I'm going to go ahead. Just give me a moment so I don't dox anybody. I'm going to go ahead and, I got to drop the screen. Shoot. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get the phones up in just a second. So just Google Voice. Used to have all this stuff nicely set up where I didn't cause problems on my podcast. But unfortunately, nowadays, whatever. Okay, let me get the banner up. So here's the call-in number. We covered Brian Laundrie. We covered Alex Murdaugh. We covered the Mexican drug cartel's kidnapping. And we just covered a new missing person that looks pretty interesting to me. So I'm going to start diving into that and getting some more information and start updating you guys on that. And we still have a lot more stuff to go over. So the phones are on. I've got it where it, let me make sure I got it up there. Yes, I got it up there. So if you guys call in, people will hear you, but they don't see your number and everything like that. But we do have a new call-in number. It is right here. It is 724-249-6140. Well, good morning, Pebbles. Nice to see you in the chat this morning. And we're going to go over. So what is coming up in the second segment of this morning? We're going to be covering the Daybell Vallow case. We are going to be touching base and getting some updates on the Idaho 4. And we're going to open up the panel as well as the phone line for open discussion on existing cases and upcoming new cases. I expect that it appears that they are going to be going to court. 30 news outlets are taking the Idaho ruling for the Idaho 4 to the Supreme Court to demand that the gag order be lifted. So we'll go into, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but before that, I heard Dolly has a new website out, buydollysoap.com. I wanted to give him a big shout out. I know he doesn't come in here and bless us with his but that's because he's up half the night, and by the time I come live, he's going to bed. But I did want to tell you that I do have my very own Dolly bar of soap, and I have to be honest with you, this stuff is really good. I'm not giving a plug for my friend just to give a plug for my friend, nor do I get any compensation for doing so. But I do want people to know I used to use this all the time. I still do every now and again. I love this stuff. This stuff is like cream for your skin. Your skin will love you. If you guys are having, it's the Radiance Renewal, the Ultimate, the Gold Bond. This stuff here, holy crap, it is the best stuff I've ever had in my life. I got dry skin, horribly dry skin. And ever since I started using Dolly soap, honestly, I haven't had to use this as much. I haven't had to use this as much at all. I still, look, I got a big bottle. I mean, it's the family size. You don't get much bigger than that, right? And I used to use this every single day of my life because I had dry skin, the rough elbows, right? Those kind of chalky, rough, disgusting elbows. Yes, I had it. The bumps on the back of the arm, had it. Gross, right? So I started using that, and it really did. The Gold Bond gave me a lot of relief. But the great thing is about this bar is my skin literally no white. I haven't put lotion on this morning. No white. And it's because whatever is in this is really good stuff. So a big shout out. This is just kind of to help a friend out. But I love the fact that he finally upgraded his system to buydollysoap.com, which it does everything for him. I kept trying to tell him he needed to do that a long time ago. So just so proud of him for getting that website up and going. So I thought I'd throw him a free commercial on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Go get your Dolly soap. Thank you for my Dolly soap. It's the best stuff I've ever used. So go tell him Bullhorn Betty sent you. Make his day. Before we get further down the road, I haven't heard anybody really call too much this morning, but so we're just going to go over to the next part of this. And I almost want to shut the phones off. I don't want anybody interrupting me while I read this. So if you call while I'm reading this, you're a day late and $1 short. You should have called it a few seconds prior to. So we do this thing called the language of letting go, right? And every now and again, we'll pop up here. We used to read this thing religiously on this program every single day. I don't know why we got away from it other than I got so busy and I had so much to talk about and so much to cover that I kind of glossed right over it. But everybody got something out of it. They really did. Prayers for Summer. Thank you, Karen Klein, for reminding us about Summer Wells. And I don't know what we're going to do for her. I feel like we're going to have to talk about that a little deeper, Karen. We really are, because I'm at a loss as to what to do for her. I really am. And she needs help. I don't believe she's alive, even though I want to hold out hope, but I've done this long enough that I know and I've just studied a lot about this stuff too. It's not just, from one case to another. I just know that at this point, her chances of being found alive are literally in the single percentiles. It's might even be in the half a percentile. I mean, it's so low at this point. We're coming up on 2 years, not hide nor hair of her, not one word, not one scene. She's gone. And I'd love to say something else. I really would. And I pray to God I'm wrong. But statistically, she's no longer with us, and she hasn't been. as many of you guys know, when we go out searching for children, they're usually found within 48 hours. Usually. If they're not, that's it. Their chances of survival are very grim. And it's sad. It's sad. So today is something a little different in our language of letting go. I like March. March is really an empowering, like February was like the fun month, let yourself go, let yourself try new experiences, really finding yourself. February is kind of the finding yourself, pushing your threshold, doing some good stuff to kind of broaden your horizons. But March is really about taking care of yourself and mentally and keeping the right types of people and situations around you, healthy boundaries. And so this one is recognize manipulations. And we all need to take a lesson of that because many of us know addicts, we know people, we know, our children, everybody in our lives can potentially be manipulative toward us. We could be naive, gullible, a lot of different things. And so we need to recognize those things and we need to, set our healthy boundaries. So herein lies the irony. The person who is trying to manipulate you views you as having greater strength or power than he or she does. It's almost a compliment. George Green and Carolyn Cotter describe manipulation as an encounter in which someone else attempts to control how you feel, behave, or think without your permission, and it causes us discomfort as a result. Most of us use manipulation from time to time to get what we want. Sometimes our manipulations are harmless and even cute. But people know both people know a low grade manipulation is at hand. Both people basically want what the manipulator is working so hard to get: dinner out, a movie, a walk through the park. It's not a big deal. Other times, the stakes are higher and the people involved don't agree. That's when manipulations can be hurtful. When we don't know what we want, when we're not clear with others and ourselves about how we feel, a manipulation is in the air. Sometimes manipulations are conscious and deliberate. Other times they're unconscious, foggy attempts to get what we want. Let's simplify our definition of manipulation, suggests Green and Cotter. If an encounter leaves you feeling crummy, it probably involves manipulation of some sort. Isn't it ironic that sometimes the very feeling we're trying to deny is exactly what we need to be feeling to take care of ourselves? Next time we're faced with a situation that leaves you feeling crummy, take a moment to see if a manipulation was involved. Remember that whenever others try to manipulate you, they perceive you as having something they want and being more powerful than they are. If you're powerful enough to be target for manipulation, you're powerful enough to take care of yourself. God, help me let go of my belief that I need to manipulate other people and to get what I want. Help me stop letting others manipulate me. So that's a great message for today from the language of letting go. It's about manipulation, the different degrees of manipulation. Some are cute and harmless and make us feel good and warm and fuzzy. And some, they just don't. So be on the lookout for if somebody's actually manipulating you and whether they're manipulating you for a movie or they're manipulating you to get what they want at your expense. God bless you. God bless you. Let's see what's going on the next. Okay, we got that. Might as well go through this. We have an update, I think. Yeah, an update yesterday morning. And I'm sure you guys have seen this. Shoot, I can't share it. Can I share it? Let me see if I can present this without stopping my screen. And I can't present two pages at once. But this is the one about the lady that the Texas mom stands accused of capital murder in the death of 3 of her children nearly 2 years after her twins were accused of committing the same crime against a 7-year-old. Oh my God. A Texas mother stands accused of capital murder in the death of 3 children nearly 2 years after her twin sister was accused of committing the same crime against a 7-year-old girl. I think it says Shemaya. I can never pronounce this. Shemaya Hall, 25, allegedly murdered a 6-year-old boy and 5-year-old twins, a boy and a girl, from Italy, Texas. We did cover a portion of this case, but I am giving you the update, the one that came out yesterday. A 4-year-old boy and a 13-month-old girl were stabbed and wounded, according to the sheriff's department. Investigators said that the stabbing murders occurred as a Texas Child Protective Service caseworker attempted to remove the children from the Harris Street home. So we originally heard that that they were going there to do a check, an unannounced check, welfare check. But that's not what it sounds like. It sounds like they specifically went to that home to remove the children out. The caseworker then called Ellis County Sheriff 911 dispatch at approximately 4 p.m. The Italy police department was dispatched to the resident and arrived on scene at approximately 4:05. So within 5 minutes, they were on scene and discovered 5 critically injured children inside the home. We ask you to keep the family, the community of Italy, and the first responders in your thoughts and prayers. The Italy Police Department on Saturday similarly offered thoughts and prayers to the victims' family and friends and those who were touched by the tragic event that unfolded the day before. Ellis County jail records reviewed by Law and Crime indicate Hall faced 3 charges of capital murder, and the bond is set for $2 million on each count. As the investigation in the shocking case continues to unfold, the defendant's twin sister was accused of stabbing and murdering a child almost 2 years ago. It makes you wonder, this kind of reminds me a lot of the Leilani Simon situation where 2 children of one lady are in jail. One has been convicted of murder. One is going to trial for murder of her 20-month-old son. And then you hear something like this where 2 sisters, twin sister, is accused of doing the same thing 2 years before. And it makes you wonder, what did these children, they're adults now and have kids of their own, which they have assaulted and murdered. But it makes you wonder what kind of life they had that turned both of these girls into these murderous parents. And I talk about that a lot because a lot of the problems that we deal with as adults, we're dealing, are stem from childhood trauma. So it makes me wonder, were they abused? Were they, essayed? Were there drugs? Were there alcohol? Because you guys know how I believe there are 3 secret ingredients to make a real POS parent. And is drugs, one is alcohol and abuse, or a combination of them. Let's grab this. This is Betty.
Hey, Betty, it's Mab.
Hey, Mab, how are you doing, my friend?
Oh, man. I was on Dolly's panel and I got so tired. I went to bed and
yeah.
I woke up at 4:30. I can't sleep for shit.
You got an hour. I rested yesterday. Oh my God, it felt good. I ordered food. I didn't want to get out of bed.
Just my face coming back to life.
Oh, yay.
Won't let me sleep.
But it's coming back to life. So
yeah.
So yes, what were they talking on Dolly's panel for? What was all that about? I didn't get a chance to watch it this morning.
He was doing merch and you know, the usual subjects were there.
Mm-hmm.
Paper Cut, Tina, Wild Angel, all those people. Triple D.
Oh Lord. Well, Triple D, he must be sleeping because he hasn't come over here and blessed my channel in a while. I like conversations with him too every now and again. Don't hate me, Triple D. Don't hate me.
But we're getting other people up that haven't been up before. That's good.
Yeah, it's weird because I noticed, like, I Dolly kind of does that. He has like rounds of people like there for a while. It was me, Guidance, and Susie Ann. And then after that, it went to, I can't remember who was up there. And then after that, now it's Paper Cut and them. And whatever happened to Rebel? I haven't seen him.
Rebel, yeah. I haven't seen Rebel for a dog's age.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen Rebel or his wife in any chats in quite some time. Just curious as to what's going on with them.
I don't know.
He
But
was up there a lot too, and then all of a sudden he's not there anymore.
I invented an AI
Mm-hmm.
patent application that I filed not too long ago that deals with people talking over one another.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Dolly has a problem with.
Yeah. Well, even on here, I don't understand it because even on here, I can have, 5 or 6 people up on panel and, we just kind of go through, like I'll speak to one, let them say something. I'll just go down the list and everybody has their opportunity to speak. Maybe he just needs to.
You're moderating though. He's making merch.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I'm not. My merch comes from Sonia. People can order through her or through our Teespring account.
So I'm just have one referee and pick people to. I put it in the chat, but I had gone off the panel by then.
Gotcha. Yeah, and another thing is like even if one person's up there, maybe have a point person and have the discussion and then just go around the panel instead of everybody talk. But
Yeah.
I know that's been a problem because I've heard even Dolly say that it's a problem for him, with everybody over talking.
Start talking about cats and it goes off of true crime. It goes all over the place.
Yeah, occasionally I don't mind, having some other topics of conversation just to break it up but not take an hour to talk about.
My dog is a bulldog. Everybody wants to say what their dog is. Everybody wants to show their cat.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets crazy.
We love our animals. What can we say? They're the star of our hearts and the star of our life. Why not making them the star of the show?
I know my little 85-pound Lucas.
Yeah, well, I don't need animals. I got 2 cats out the front door. It was a long story how one of them started getting fed here. And now every time this cat sees me, it's not my cat. And it's because of a friend coming over here and feeding this cat. And now the cat every time the cat sees me, comes over here. So now I got to keep cat food in the house. And this is not even my cat, but the cat so much when I walk out the front door that it's easier just to feed it than listen to her complain to me the whole time. But listen to this. Now she brings a friend. Now I got 2.
We have a kitty George and a dog Lucas, and they get along really well now. They sleep right beside each other, and
well, the orange must be the new heart because both the cats that come over here are orange. They're both orange. Apparently, the only cats in my community that love me are orange cats.
Trump cats.
Orange cats. I might as well I'm gonna have to buy more orange clothes so I can blend.
Yeah, so these twins who both stabbed their kids. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy, but I always try to find the why factor. And when you hear something like this, it almost like, first of all, I don't give any, just like Leilani. I went hard after her. This lady's no different. I think she's a real piece of garbage. Just because people are abused doesn't make them kill their children. But it does
Right.
make me always wonder the why factor. How did we get here with these two girls, siblings? And it comes back to, I believe that they've had a very rough childhood where they were,
Yep.
it's the abused become the abusers situation.
They could have been stabbed and not reported.
Yeah, something happened.
I mean, I'm sure they were abused.
Yeah,
I mean, it's got to be.
yeah. Because this is not just normal run of the mill abuse. This is abuse that. Oh, I just realized one of my little things. What happened? One of my things came off. I gotta find one of these things here for my computer. I just realized it came off. It must be in the car. It's got to be somewhere. I'll have to find it. Oh, so I was talking about, the Alec Murdaugh case, the Russell Laffitte. He is now, Russell Laffitte in the Alec Murdaugh case. He was the banker for Palmetto State Bank that Alec set up. Well, he was one of the first. Yeah, he was one of the first that went to court before Alec did. And when Alec needed to testify for his court, he pled the fifth. And so Russell Laffitte was convicted of this, of all these crimes. Well, when Alec went to testify in his own defense on his murder trial, he finally opened up about Russell Laffitte and expressed that Russell Laffitte was an unknowing participant in this scheme. He had no knowledge that Alec was doing this. So Russell has now went back to the courts and said, hey, this is new information that was not available at the time of my trial. I want a new trial. And the judge has denied the new trial. So I have a funny feeling they're going to appeal that. Yeah, but I do believe a lot of people. Mhm. Right. I do. I do. Yeah. And that's why, I got to tell you a story. I dated this guy. I was in my 20s. I was still messed up. He was a messed up kid too, because that's who I was attracted to. If you weren't effed up, then I didn't want anything to do with you. I was attracted to all the wrong people, right? So, anyways, um, he was dirt floor poor, but he was a sweet kid and everything like that. Well, his family had the largest. They were literally dirt floor poor. They were land poor, and they had this huge, massive farmland, and their family sold it. And so he literally became a multi-millionaire over. Oh, I hit a button. He made it became a multi-millionaire overnight, and his so he was trying to buy my house. And I'm like, I'm an independent woman. I'm like, I don't want anybody ever saying that I owe them something. So I said, no, I wouldn't let him pay off the mortgage to my house. Now that I'm older, I'm thinking how stupid and naive was I? Somebody was offering to pay for my house, let him pay for the damn house, but I didn't want to owe him. And, it's one of those things. It's just, you got to be careful, who, and I kick myself, over and over again, because I could have had my house paid off. I wouldn't have had all these struggles. I'd still be in that house right now had he paid it off. But again, I didn't want to have to deal with what did I owe him after the house was paid off. And
can you guys hear me in the chat? They're saying they can't hear me.
Yeah, I accidentally hit a button and I muted you. You're good now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. I looked up and because my cursor was on there and I must have accidentally touched the computer wrong and hit it just right. I don't know.
I sent you an email about Key West, but my niece is also Andrea.
Aw.
and it was actually for her because I think I signed it for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's in May. I'm trying to keep all my ducks in a row because even like today, I've got to start getting ready. I got an appointment at 10 with one of my county commissioners today. I forgot all about it, but I remember that's the reason why I rushed back. That's why I couldn't really stop anywhere. It was such a tight schedule. So like I've got the meeting today at 10, and then I've got my hair appointment tomorrow. I've got another event tomorrow afternoon, and then my stuff starts all over again. And I still have to meet.
Hardest working woman on YouTube.
I tell you what, I'm exhausted some days. Some days I work myself into a frenzy. And I still haven't even unpacked. Like when I would listen to this, when I came home from DC, I walked in this house. I literally ripped off the clothes that I was wearing to drive here. I put on pajamas. I didn't even take a shower, and I climbed into bed and I fell asleep. I didn't even unpack the car until the next day. I was so exhausted.
Yeah. You got to take some time for yourself. Like
Yeah.
At least one day a week of nothing.
Yeah, but it's too hard because I can't. I'm not one of those people that can just sit still. Like even yesterday, it was hard. It was hard. I had to watch videos and watch. I don't watch TV. I shouldn't say that. I'm watching a lot more now than I have in a little bit because that's really is my downtime now. But it was hard. It was hard. I had to keep telling myself, put the computer down, put the phone down, put this down, put this down. All day yesterday, I had to yell at myself because I just have this need to work.
Yeah, my wife says that if I stop watching YouTube, I probably would sleep better.
We just need to get Dolly to come on earlier instead of nighttime. But he's been entertaining people in the middle of the night for years. It's funny.
He came on earlier in the afternoon for like 35, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, about my time.
But I have to tell you, some mornings popping up and stuff like that. It's nice. It's nice hearing, somebody laughing and giggling because sometimes if he's still live when I'm waking up, I will pop in there and just listen to what they're all yapping about.
Yeah, I see you in there.
Yeah.
I like Mama Llama.
Yeah, Mama Llama's in there. We got a lot of people that go over there. So
yeah.
Anyways, I got to call Mama Bullhorn. She was calling in on the other line.
Okay.
All right, love. Take care and have a great day.
You too.
God bless. Bye.
You too. Bye.
All right. Let me go to my calls. Get out of here. See if I can find Mama Bullhorn in here somewhere. I know she called. Question is, when did she call? Mama Bullhorn, you're gonna have to call in on the call-in line. If you're watching right now, you can call in, but you need to call in on the call-in line. 724-249-6140. Mama Bullhorn. Starting to believe like she's not watching me. She's calling me on this. There she is. Well, howdy. Good morning.
Don't you think I'm not watching you?
I don't know. Why are you calling me on the cell phone when I got the phone lines open?
Oh, Mabs, you're the greatest.
Oh, that's why. Oh, she wanted to talk directly to Mab. That's why.
Well, no. I am so Murdaugh sick.
Yeah.
We've got to go through 99 more trials.
You're right. We do.
99 more trials. And poor Judge Newman, he's going to preside over all of them. But he's going to retire after that. And old Poot, he's running for Senate. So all the Murdaugh cases, as the defense attorney, that will be his end. He said that the other day. So
Dick is running for
Senate. I believe he said the Senate. But anyways,
Sorry, I had to write this down so I can start working on blocking his ass from being in there.
Oh, I had so many things I was going to say. Oh, orange cats. I believe I told you this the other day when we went to lunch. Lupper. It was more early supper than lunch, but orange cats. 90% of them are male because they have an extra X chromosome. 90% are male, and if they breed with a black cat, a tabby cat, calico cat, more than 50% of the litter will be orange. And if they mate with another yellow cat, all of them will be yellow, and predominantly all of them will be male.
Well, the one that's always over here, the one that runs across the street, is a female. But I haven't checked her friend that she's now bringing over here. But I don't think the other yellow cat's her friend. I think the other yellow cat just is the one that follows her around or something because when I came home,
she's got the in on food.
But it's so funny because she was trying to run into the house the other day. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. You're not my cat. Get out of here. And it looked like she was trying to run away from that other orange cat. But the other orange cat doesn't seem to be mean or anything. It's just following her around.
I was watching JLR the other night. It was late. He was live, and he was on the side of the road at Stephen Smith's, the site where he was found.
Mm-hmm.
There were 2 stray cats, and he was feeding them crackers out of the trunk of his car. I'm going, oh, I want them. I'll take them.
Aw. Yeah, JLR is a cat lover. There's no doubt about that. I think he's an animal lover. I just think his preference is cats.
Well, I had cats and dogs together, and in the beginning it was like the dogs always had scratched noses. And in the end, after so many years, you'd go out and find them all cuddled up in the garage, because we put the dog beds in the garage at night, and the cat would be cuddled up in the bed with the dog. So,
well, over at Laura's house, when we go take Jameson for a walk, it's the craziest thing you've ever seen, especially if Henry's out. Henry is this stork she's been feeding hot dogs to for the last 10 years. So this stork just comes up and just walks into the garage and says, hey, give me some food. And so there was one day that Laura and I were walking, we took Jameson out. We had the cat following us, her cat. So we had the dog on the leash, the cat following us, and behind the cat was the bird walking. I looked back and I'm like, this is some picture right here. We're being followed by a cat and a freaking large bird.
Oh, that's sweet. But the sister, the twin,
mm-hmm.
the one that in Italy, I don't know how they say it. I think they're identical twins. The 2 sisters are identical twins.
Yeah, they have photos up here, and they look very similar to one another. Yes, identical twins.
They're predispositioned together. But the non-offending twin stabbed her sister when she was little, and then ended up stabbing her daughter, and then her sister ended up being the one to kill her kids. That's twisted. That is so twisted.
Yeah, but I believe violence like that is taught. I mean, normal people just don't do that.
No. Now, I grew up with 2 sisters. I always said I was the middle, the good stuff in the Oreo cookie, because I looked like the milkman's child. I was the redheaded stepsister because both my sisters took on the Native American dark skin, dark hair, and there I was redheaded and freckle-faced.
Mm. Yeah.
But I took after my grandmother. She was very Irish. She was a Helm, but and then I took after both my maternal grandmother and my paternal mother. So I always said I was the monkey in the middle.
Hmm.
But we fought. We fought when we were little, like cat fights.
I remember Angela and I duking it out in the kitchen, and that was after you and Dad split up, and Dad's in there trying to pull us apart, and we're in the middle of the kitchen, and there's just hair, globs of hair. Is just, they look like those when you're out in the desert and you see those things that just spin with the wind. Like, there was just gobs of hair. And I remember Dad just didn't even know what to do. He just grabs a hold of Angela, and then she kicks me in my eye, and I'm like,
oh my goodness,
it was great.
Oh, well, when we were little, we had sandspur fights. Oh my gosh,
you guys were brutal.
We would get in fights with all of our friends. Now you got to remember, this is post-war era, okay, and it's out in Mayaca, and all the fathers and all the mothers grew up together, okay. So
slim pickings, guys. Back in the day, slim pickings.
All the mothers would get. All my friends, almost all of us, was born within the same decade. Every last one of us. So we all would have these fights. We'd get mad at each other, and the thing was to throw sandspur. You'd break off the whole stem of sandspurs and whip it like a whip. Oh my God, that hurt. So
I just want to let everybody know they were much more brutal back in the day than we were growing up.
We got our asses whipped. I don't care whose mama.
Why I started using a trusty handy dandy pillow for my britches.
All of our mothers had permission to whip us. So it didn't matter whose yard you were in,
mm-hmm.
You got a whipping. If you did something wrong, you got a whipping, and you got sent home.
Mm-hmm. And then you got whipped again.
Yep, you got a whipping again. And the weapon of choice by all the mothers in those days were nice switches. We got our legs switched. We'd go to school, and we'd have stripes all over all of our legs. Well, the teachers knew what had happened. We all got together and did something wrong, and somebody switched us. Mm. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, but my weapon of choice with you and Angela was a paint stick. I don't know how many of them. I don't know how many of them I broke over the counter.
I know. You popping the wood and Dad popping the belt.
Yes. Oh,
I did that with my grandkids though too. I'd go grab a belt and pull it and get their attention.
Snap.
You don't do that, or I'm going to whip you.
Oh, mental anguish, instilling mental anguish in the children. We were so abusive. But I know there's some people out there.
Those abused children knew respect. They didn't talk to adults like crap. They didn't push people out of the way.
And they said yes ma'am, no sir.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember when I was young, if I didn't say yes ma'am, no sir, you got popped in the mouth.
I'm sorry, I've been out on the patio and the pollen is just
okay. Well, let me let you go.
No, I'm fine. Back to the trials. Everybody is on the Murdaugh, the release of the Murdaugh, the Pennsylvania records on, not Murdaugh, Kohlberger. And it's scary how, if he was a criminologist working on a PhD, Why the hell did he have all that stuff in his car? Was he planning to hide it?
Well, that's the weird thing, was the whole shovel thing, because we read page 118 and it was talking about how they were differentiating between the unorganized offender and the organized offender. And they talked about
Right.
on this page
Right.
18 that the organized offender,
Offender.
maintained his car, looked normal, acted normal, but all 90% of the time basically took the bodies with him. And when I hear that there was a shovel in the vehicle, they brought their weapon with them, that they generally take the bodies away to hide, or just, to keep their names from being out of it. And it made me wonder, was he planning on taking Maddie and Zena, or were the other three just, like, I really believe Maddie was the target at this point as opposed to anybody else. And Zana was living there too. And I keep wondering, was it only supposed to be one of them that got killed, but because she was in the bed with Kaylee was killed, and because he heard somebody downstairs, he assumed that the other two, not realizing Dylan was on the second floor as well? I mean, was he intending to take them with him?
I don't know. That I don't think. Let me put this. I heard a news report yesterday. I think it was on Mike on Profiling Evil hit on it. He is wonderful. He's former FBI, former Secret Service, former everything. And Mike on Profiling Evil hit on it that they need to dig deeper in Pennsylvania and the surrounding areas, because it's his opinion there were practice runs to get this to be such a perfect hit. He had practice.
I don't believe this was a perfect hit. I think that's the opinion of some journalists. I don't think this was a perfect hit.
Well, no, he didn't say perfect.
Yeah, I think this was planned, but I think it was
planned. Yeah,
I think it was very sloppy.
I don't think Kohberger realized what he, like you said. I think maybe the two blonde girls, Maddie and I forget the other girl, and then the two downstairs were not planned. He wasn't expecting them to be there. And I don't know. It's just like Murdaugh. He was in a drugged rage. I said that from the start when we found out he was on OxyContin. He was in a drugged rage to do that. And Judge Newman nailed it, because I kept telling, your stepdad, he was, out of control on drugs. I mean, if he was taking that many pills a day, honestly, there is no way that man would be alive. And here I am talking about Murdaugh. All that $50,000 a week on drugs, I disagree. I think he was laundering the money back into a drug cartel. I believe if they dig deep enough for these fraud charges, they're going to find that money.
I think he went to the Bahamas.
Absolutely.
I keep wondering, the money doesn't make sense. I can tell you that there's enough former drug addicts in this chat that would know that this man would be dead if he had that kind of habit.
Absolutely. Well, 27 years of working in medical, doctors, surgery, there is no way that if you took that many pills a day, you would be either in a forever coma or brain dead.
Yeah. Like, your body can only handle so much toxins and poisons, and can only process that so much, and the buildup of that. I mean, we learn about this
that
stuff
from Elvis. look at him. But anyways, let's Koberger, they're going to find out a hell of a lot. If just think about the information they dug up on Alec from the phones, the car, that is unreal. They're going to pull out his GPS just like they did on Alec Murdaugh, and they're going to process it, and they're going to find a heck of a lot more than they probably already have. And it's going to be amazing. I told your stepdad yesterday, it's going to be the trial of the century. He is so sick of hearing about Murdaugh, Koberger.
Yeah, but I mean, in all fairness, they've got a lot of like meat to the bone on those cases, because it's just they're unbelievable cases. I mean, nobody can believe that this is happening. Like, even with Koberger, nobody can believe that these people that have done absolutely nothing to this man would be a target of his I don't know, whatever's inside of him.
Go back and watch Michelle Walks from yesterday. She hits on something that I have never heard of. And you know, she's got a PhD in criminology and psychology as well. There's some, I forgot what it's called, but it's a white woman syndrome. Men develop a mental, I don't know what you want to call it, affinity, I guess, towards white women, white blonde women, because that Michelle Bully, or I think her name was not Michelle Bully, but the Bully case over in Lancaster in the UK, they thought she had been abducted for the longest. And Michelle was hitting on the possibilities, if it was. There are men out there that have an affinity to, what do I want to say? They have dreams and aspirations to kill a white blonde woman. So who knows? Koberger may be mentally ill.
There's something definitely wrong with him, but I don't think I think whatever mental illness he has was he did himself. I don't think he was born with mental illness. I think he, through the drugs and stuff like that, he developed them.
Well, you know what? We're seeing a lot of stuff coming up on the kids like you and Angela, your age, your generation, from the 80s, late 70s, early 80s. And their autism, we never had a problem with autism until the 70s and 80s. And they're honestly going back. I watched a documentary the other day. It may be due to the type of drugs the parents played around with. Not during pregnancy necessarily, but before pregnancy, you know, during high school, during college. And the other thing is the increase of glioblastoma tumors in the brain. Some people call them glioblastoma. Some of them call glioblastoma. I watched a documentary on that because, of course, you know, Uncle Kevin died of glioblastoma. And they said it's from people in the early 70s, mostly military. Can you get this? Mostly Vietnam War veterans, because they were overseas smoking pot that could have been treated with Paraquat. Okay. And that they feel is leading to the high increase, because glioblastomas were so rare. I worked for a neurosurgeon for 8.5 years. And when someone came in with a glioblastoma, there's nothing you can do. Mm-hmm. With today, they can use injectable stem cells and stuff like that. But back then, there was nothing you could do. And they actually related it back to insecticides on tobacco products and pot. Get that. I have no idea where they come up with this stuff.
Neither do
But it was a
I. That's
doctor
why
from-
you always have to
It was
question
a doctor
everything.
from Moffitt. It was a doctor from Moffitt that did the documentary. So I don't know. It's weird. All I know is environmental. More than 50% of our family have MS. And we all worked in orange groves. That was the family business.
Yeah.
And honestly, I do believe it's environmental. People, I've read and read and read and had deep conversations with friends that are doctors, and they say it's MS is over in the UK. They've done studies. They think it's related to untreated strep infections, and I disagree. I think it is an environmental issue. People who have been exposed to chemicals, gases. I feel so freaking bad for the people who are in Palestine. And if you go back and read the history on Lockport, there is so many people that came down with cancers, multiple sclerosis, birth defects, spina bifida. Probably none of the people on your page here knows anything about Lockport, but if you investigate it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Lockport, New York, a big chemical company started burying the chemicals underground, and then they sold the land and had a big school built on it.
Gotcha.
Kind of like Bayshore High.
Yeah. All right, Ma. I gotta run. I got a few more minutes, and I still have a meeting.
Okay,
I gotta
baby.
get you at 10.
I love you. I've rattled on, but I just love you. Oh, and I made the very best. I bought a roaster chicken, and I investigated it. It had a chemical taste, a slight chemical taste after I roasted it, and I couldn't eat it. And I investigated it, and it's the processors. It's what they're processing the chickens with to keep down the bird flu. Well, I took that chicken and put it in the Instapot, and I pressured the heck out of it. And I added half of a bottle of Heinz barbecue sauce, half a jar of peach preserves, about a quarter of a jar of salsa, and about 20 shakes of hot sauce, and I let it rip. Of course, I took the meat off the bones, and I let it rip.
Nice.
OMG. I made the best pulled chicken in this world.
Nice.
So, you missed out. I made a big pot of collard
I'm
greens
sorry.
to
I
go
ended
with
up ordering
and
from
homemade cornbread.
Yeah, getting a stuffed bell pepper side salad and a small pizza, which kept me full yesterday.
I know.
this
I
whole
was
box-
going to deliver it. And you didn't want it.
Yeah, and then this box from Jennifer, which nothing's really left in it. I got up at 4:30 and went to the gym.
Okay. Oh, did you hear the news that Coffindoffer is now part of Fox News?
Nice.
So they brought her on board. So anyways, I love you.
Love you too.
I love everyone. Have a great day.
Mom.
Bye.
Bye. All right, let me get this phone turned off just for a little bit. Go. All right, off. So we still have a few more things that I did want to go over with you guys. Let me pull these up because I don't have any videos. So here it is. Here's the despicable woman. and this is both her and her sister, identical twins. As you can see, one has their hair done, one doesn't have their hair done. But if you look at their noses, their eyes, and their facial feature, they are identical twins. So these are the two women that have stabbed their children. So stabbed their children. And then we're going to be starting to discuss some of the Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow case. I haven't started with the research. Yes, we didn't really cover this case when it was breaking because we were on other cases. But now that now that we're dealing with more, we're able to kind of dive in a little bit. So this is some new information coming out that the judge is finally, this is like the fifth bite at the apple or the sixth bite at the apple. They have been trying to sever Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow from having their trial together. They've been trying to sever their cases so they can each have their own individual trial. And the judge kept denying. Well, now the judge has finally decided to split these cases up. Fremont County, Idaho. And there's a lot of cases, a lot of major cases in Idaho right now. We have Michael Monkey Vaughn still missing, presumed dead. There's been some DNA that is going off to laboratories. We've got the Idaho 4, where Brian Koberger is accused of killing 4 innocent college-age students at their off-campus housing on the outskirts of the University of Idaho. So lots of major cases coming out from the state of Idaho. And I'm wondering if I'm going to be going back here soon because there's so many cases, and going back there for a significant amount of time so we can make sure that we're up to date on all 3 cases, since they're all in the same state, a few hours apart from each other. It might be something that I will be entertaining. I haven't decided yet. I've got to look at the cost to do something like this. But it does seem like there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming up over the next month, month to 3 months. So I am looking into options for me to be in Idaho for a significant amount of time to cover all these cases, but we'll have to see. And I think that I'm going to start going out there here coming soon. So any friends in Idaho, if there's any friends in Idaho, please reach out to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com so I can start working on arrangements to get out there and things of that nature. But I'm just going to read this article here for you guys so you guys can hear what's going on for those that can't see it on their phones. This is Fremont County, Idaho. An Eastern Idaho judge has declined to split the case up for the couple accused of murdering and conspiring in the death of 3 people, including 2 children who disappeared in the fall of 2019, made headlines around the nation. East Idaho News reported on Thursday, Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow were scheduled to stand trial together on April 3rd, but in a hearing that lasted nearly 2 hours Thursday morning, 7th District Judge Stephen Boyce agreed to sever the cases and postpone the Chad Daybell's trial, which will be rescheduled at a later date. In an indictment issued in May of 2021, the couple are charged with first-degree murder and conspiring in the death of J.J. Vallow, Tylee Ryan, and Chad Daybell's former wife, Tammy Daybell. The case originates from Fremont County, but their trials will take place in Ada County, some 300 miles away, under a change of venue order. So change of venue order in these type of high-profile cases where they move trials 300 miles away happen every single day, guys. It happens every single day. When you have a high-profile case, the chances of them actually staying in that county are very slim. So that's why I totally disagree with the gag order being utilized in the Idaho 4, because you're not going to get away from the change of venue in that particular case. There's just no way. That change of venue will be heard and will most likely be granted. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware of that. Video recordings or public live streams are not permitted in Thursday's hearing, which took place in St. Anthony's. But East Idaho News sent a reporter to attend in person and agreed to share the information with KTVB for this story, Daybell, through his attorney, John Pryor, filed its latest motion to split the case based on new DNA evidence that has just recently been made available to all parties in the case. Pryor argued Thursday he will need at least 60 days to get the test done on the new DNA report, which was received in a hearing earlier this week. Pryor called it a piece of information that will have to be profound, will have a profound impact on the case. Daybell has requested the cases be severed before. Until Thursday, Boyce denied such motions when the prosecution argued that it had given the bulk of the evidence to the defense on time. Boyce remarked that the defense is entitled to all the evidence, not just the bulk or majority. A key difference in pretrial developments between Vallow's and Daybell's case is Daybell waived his right to speedy trial while Vallow did not. Daybell's defense has repeatedly pushed for more time to prepare. Meanwhile, earlier this year, Vallow's defense attorney filed a motion to dismiss her case for lack of speedy trial. A motion was denied. Jim Archibald, for Vallow's defense, said there were interviews from witnesses in the FBI recorded in 2020 that he had just received within the last few days. And then I'll leave this here. If my client waives her right to speedy trial, I would be asking for more time. But since she has held the right and held it close to her, I have to respect the constitutional autonomy that she has, Archibald said. In discussion with prosecutor about new DNA evidence, Thursday's hearing, Judge Boyce said, it appears to me as it's been disclosed that there is something there. It is DNA evidence. It came directly from the crime scene, and it's indicative of unknown persons that could further be identified through additional testing. Is it the best remedy here to allow time for testing so that we don't have to delve into speculation about what all the evidence is? Circumstances can arise, and the courts has considered whether or not going forward with a joint trial in this case can impair the due process rights of the defendants, Boyce said before splitting the trial and granting the continuance for Daybell. Lori Vallow's trial is set for April 3rd. Boyce said the new trial date for Chad Daybell would be up to Ada County, and he believes the delay could be more than 6 months. So it looks like Lori Vallow will be going to court first, followed by Daybell, which will be going on 6 months later, probably around October or November of this year, according to, if I'm reading this all correctly. So just wanted to get that information out to you guys as well. And we got some more stuff going on. So that Daybell case has been severed. And we've got some more information from the docket, Chasing Paper 89, related to the temporary order sealing the stipulation to release, property and related documents pending hearing. So they're trying to release property, but want the property that's being released sealed. And I'm not sure how this judge is going to handle that. Let's see if I can blow this up just a little bit. It's probably going to be blurry. Oh, actually, it's not as blurry as I thought it would be. So let me go ahead and pull this up on the screen. So I can make it just a little bit bigger for all of you guys. So I guess this is about as big as it's going to let me get it for you guys. So this is the motion to temporary seal the stipulation to release property. So it's saying the state of Idaho, and this is for the Brian Kohberger case. This Brian Kohberger case. The state of Idaho, by and through Latah County Prosecuting, respectfully moves this court pursuant to Idaho Court Administrative Rule 32G1 and Idaho Code 74-124 for temporary order. Temporary order. I want to make sure I stress that. Temporary order. Not all-encompassing until the trial's over order. This is a temporary order. That means it's going to be limited in time and scope. Temporary order, the stipulation to release property and all related documents, including Exhibit A and B, and any order filed herein, because release or disclosure would, 1, interfere with the enforcement proceedings, 2, deprive the person of a right to a fair trial, 3, constitute unwarranted invasion of personal privacy, and 4, disclosure of identity of confidential sources, or disclose investigative techniques and procedure. Wherefore, the state respectfully prays the court temporarily seal from the public disclosure herein under the provision of Idaho Court Administrative Rule 32G1 and Idaho Code 74-124, pending hearing on the matter. Respectfully submitted February 28, 2023 by Ashley Jennings, Senior Deputy Prosecuting Attorney. Let me see if I can. And this one here is the order. So again, order based on the motion to seal and stipulate all related documents filed herein, the court does hereby confirm and order the stipulation to release property and all related documents, including Exhibit A and B, and this order are confidential, exempt from disclosure, and are sealed pursuant to Idaho Court Administrative Rule 32G1 for reasons stated in said motion and until April 1st, 2023, or further order of the court. So they're making us wait until for 30 days before this stuff will be released. But at least she's limiting that with a date in mind, because we were told that March 1st we would be able to get the docket, and I doubt the docket is even available to us right now. So I'm going to have to send out some letters for this case too, and request public records and public access. But I have a funny feeling that the higher courts are going to be doing that for us here in short order. More information on this stuff, which we'll probably go on and discuss that a little further, and that's just getting us there. Let's see what else we have here. And I think that's it. That really is all we have today, folks. I'm sorry. I would have liked to have the phones open a little longer. I said we were going to go over 2 hours, but I forgot I do have a meeting at 10 o'clock this morning that I need to get ready for. So that's what I'm going to do now, is get ready for my meeting and get out of here. And I will see you guys later this afternoon. We've got a lot of different things that I'm discussing, and we're going to start going down since we've got the Idaho 4, Michael Monkey Vaughn, and the Daybell case. I think we're going to start going and discussing more in-depth Daybell information and reading that case as we're starting to prepare for trial in that case. That trial will be going forward. Looks like April, in the early, like the first week of April, but that could change depending on how they choose to proceed forward. So, oh, nice to see you, AG. Good morning. We're just about to wind down, but I promise you guys I will be back later this afternoon with another live. We're going to be going live most of the day today just to catch up on everything that we've missed when we've been running the Alec Murdaugh trial. We just want to get everybody up to speed, so you guys are as close up to speed as everybody else on YouTube. And we just took a little detour so we could learn from the Alec Murdaugh case. And I am very thankful that we chose to make that decision. We learned a lot in that case, and we will continue to learn more as these cases start developing. I think, with the Daybell case, it's going to be interesting as to what they use for evidence in that case and what they can get through in that case and how that one went. Gannon Stouch trial, March 20th. I haven't heard of Gannon. Hold on, let me pull this up and see what. Oh, little boy. Let's pull this up. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, a 2-year-old. Thursday morning marks 2 years since Gannon initially went missing. It's a case that stayed with many of us and shocked people around the nation. On January 27th, 2020, Stouch, if I'm saying that, is it Stouch or Stotch? was reported missing from his Colorado home. For weeks, the community and police searched for him. On March 20, again, the body was found in a suitcase near a bridge in Florida. Oh, that's just heartbreaking. According to the preliminary court testimony, he had a gunshot wound. Oh my God, and blunt force trauma and fractured skull, sharp injuries in his chest and back. Shortly after his body was found, police arrested his stepmother, Letitia Staunch, in Myrtle Beach for first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. And there's that evil piece of mom. She appears before a judge Thursday in Colorado, exactly 2 years to the day since she reported Gannon missing. ABC affiliate KRDO reports that Staunch appeared in person after failing to come to the jail for her last couple of appearances. They said she stayed quiet through most of the hearing, only briefly consulting with her attorney. During the court date, the judge authorized a search warrant for her iPhone during the investigation, and investigators were able to search through all of her text, call history, social media points, her GPS location, and her access to her home's Ring doorbell system. KRDO also said her mental health evaluation will likely take place in late February, with the report ready by March 31st. As she awaits trial in court, she pled not guilty to numerous charges against her. They reported that the court is planning to call hundreds of people for jury pool. They'll call 70 people per day until they're able to get 16 jurors who will be able to sit through 6 weeks of trial, only 12 of which will decide her final verdict. Wow. Let's see what this one is. So it looks like her preliminary hearing will be set for March 11th, which is in just a few days. She was arrested in Myrtle Beach, but they took her back to Colorado. So there's another case really close to the whole Idaho area. I mean, not really close, but I mean, she looks evil. She kind of looks a little evil. It looks like it's going on in Colorado Springs. So that's interesting. So we will we got a lot of different cases going on, some trials coming up that we're going to be monitoring. Just a second. I want to make sure I got all these names down so I can put them in my tickler file and make sure that you know what I find odd? If you look at like all these kids that go missing with their parents and stuff, do you find it odd that it always seems to be like this November to January area? This is like the time when we're celebrating, with family. We're having Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. And this seems to be all around the time that a lot of these kids start going missing or, wind up in suitcases and things of that nature. It like even Harmony Montgomery, it was like everything that happens is always around, November to January. Look at Cody Bigsby, Serenity McKinney. All these kids seem to go missing around the holidays. And this one's no different. Gannon disappears January 27th. It wasn't even February of that year. So, there's a lot of stuff that's going on that we just don't quite understand. Either way, guys, I just want to thank you for your time. I had an amazing time this Tuesday. I got to get going again. Maybe we'll come back and talk about these cases a little closer, Gannon, as well as the Daybell Vallow case. And we still have some more going on with the Brian Koberger case. And I want to give an update on the Michael Vaughn case. So we got a lot of stuff that we're going to be catching up on this week. So I'm going to be working very hard. You guys are just going to have a little bit of downtime, a few hours downtime. And then probably around noon or 1 o'clock, we will be back live. So if you guys are watching on the replay crew and didn't get notified of this live, make sure you change that bell to all. If your bell is set to all and you still didn't get an update, unsubscribe and resubscribe. But we are soulless freaks. Yeah, Mary Jane, absolutely. So I want to see all you guys back here later this afternoon as we dive further into some cases and some new cases. We need to figure out what direction we're going to go, what cases we're going to start following. Obviously, I've spent a lot of time and money out in Idaho for the Idaho 4, as well as Michael Monkey Vaughn. So those are going to be cases that we definitely provide updates with and everything else. I still have a cease and desist letter that I've got to prepare for Savannah, Georgia, Chatham County prosecutors, and just some other stuff that I'm going to have to be doing today into the night, working on things as we start moving forward in our goals this year. The one thing I am very proud of, for the community and for the family of J.J. Rollins, first of all. The second thing is that I was glad that I was able, I didn't think I would be able to check one of my wants off my list, my goal list. And one of those is I wanted to be a part of bringing a child home and bringing a child home alive. And with J.J. Rollins' case, that made it possible to check that off. I'm very happy. I'm very amazed. I'm very proud. I'm glad it wasn't another parent doing horrible things to a child. Again, I'm tired of covering those cases, but that case had a happy ending. And to think that I was a part of it, I was honored to be a part of it. And so proud of all the law enforcement agencies, as well as the hundreds of volunteers that came out there to look for that precious baby. And we found him, and he was returned home to his family, and he was returned home to his family healthy and unharmed. He had some scratches, some bug bites on him, but he still had, 10 fingers and toes, And it was a beautiful thing. It was a happy thing. I cannot express the feeling that overwhelms you with gratitude and joy when you're in a situation like that. The vibe, was getting really dark and depressing when we were out there searching for that boy for hours and couldn't find him. And then to hear that he was on the other side and somebody did find him and was able to take him home to be with his family. There is no feeling like that. There is no greater rush or high adrenaline that you can get than you can get from hearing something like that, and just knowing, because I knew if he was over in our spot, he was dead. I can tell you that. It was so dangerous over in the area that we were searching that I didn't have a good feeling. When I saw that, my heart went into my stomach. And thank God he was on the other side, about 2 miles away from where we were. And I'm so thankful he was, because if he was back where we were, he wouldn't have made it. He would not have made it. So, things happen for a reason. God bless that family. I'm sure that that'll never happen again for that family. And I'm just happy that we all were able to be a part of it. So it was amazing. Unfortunately for Gannon, his story is not going to be as happy as that. But you know what we can do? We can expose this, and we can seek justice for him. And it looks like justice will be served in due time. So with that, guys, don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, folks, be safe. Good day.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.